time travel story, and I got told, okay, a black helicopter chasing a black locomotive at night. Thanks, guys. Challenging, yeah, I'd say. I used every trick I knew. I mean, I got bugs in the headlights, I got muzzle flash, anything I could do to eliminate this thing. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hand these around if y'all want to look at them. You can look too. Okay.
She is indulging in nicotine.
The nicotine. There's nicotine. Ah. So far we're projecting okay without a mic. You can go get some pizza or something, right? Oh, I wish. Yeah, I wish. Wouldn't that be good? That's cool. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Waiting on more people?
A little bit, but I think this may be it for now until word spreads on its own.
Kind of scattered?
Yeah,
Not running around with bullhorns?
Well, we did a bit of that, but yeah.
Okay.
We don't rate bullhorns.
Oh, you do rate bullhorns, but I already spread the word to all the groups I was seeing.
We don't rate bullhorns.
Do you need me
Yeah.
to get out the bullhorn?
We don't rate announcements.
She's really kind
I
of turned
know.
on by bullhorns.
I know you.
And by that we mean the audio
Familiarity
bullhorns,
breeds
not
contempt.
wearing bullhorns. That's only for special occasions.
Hi.
Hi, come on in. It's not the same without you.
Oh, trust me, it is. What's this?
The portfolio. It's some of the pictures and stuff of the works and stuff.
You're the topper. You start.
Oh, I can do that. I could.
Pretty.
They're so peaceful right now. I don't want to interrupt them.
I can listen to them.
Are you sure?
I'm ogling the
The Hesper. Oh yeah. Hesper are fun.
What was this for?
I'm sitting here like, I want to make
This
Which
one.
one?
This one.
Which one? The black one or the blue one?
This one.
The blue one? That was just something that popped out of my fevered brain.
I like it.
I'm glad you like it. I brought prints you can buy.
Keegan, we don't have. That's gonna go in Kurt's bag wherever it is. I think it's back there. I'm gonna have to find it.
It was one of those strange paintings where
He'll
you
let
just
me
get
do
in
it.
the zone.
He trusts me, apparently.
I had started burnishing in a canvas with a telecyanine blue and picked up a white brush and
Time marking those paid. I have a few of them.
and
This
7
one
hours later the
and-
painting was done. Holy crap.
Okay. That one and that one.
Fun how it turned out.
We're already paid and already picked up their stuff. I just don't know.
Alright, I guess we'll get underway.
You had our clerk here. He looks confused. Keegan is at his cabin, which is far away from here.
And silence radius.
Oh, it's okay. Everybody needs a little calm. Alright.
I think somebody got too calm.
Anyway, my name's Larry Dixon. This is the lovely and talented Mercedes Lackey. We can call her Misty. You'll allow it, won't you?
Because we don't rate bullhorns.
Yeah, we don't do. Bullhorns are saved for the fursuiter parade, but not for the likes of us.
No.
I'll sensibly be around with a bullhorn.
We could.
Really, just bullhorns turn her on. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
I'm just not going to let you let that go.
No, you aren't. Not until I go do it.
Anything you can tease Joel with is
No,
always
no,
great.
no. You're going to hear about this for the next 5 years.
Yes, I am.
Lucky
I'm
dog.
gonna go put this in something else.
Okay,
Here,
I
have this.
gave up 5
Probably
hours
giving
of
it
my
back to-
sleep
well, no,
and
give it
came
back.
all the way out here, and I didn't even get a bullhorn announcement.
Mostly it's because I've never trusted the bullhorn because I can never understand anyone using it.
It's like a drive-through, isn't it?
Uh-huh. No, it's not like the teachers off of Peanuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, he said he put it back here somewhere.
And now you're splitting?
if you like,
Dude.
I'll be a human bullhorn.
He actually will.
No, that's Bucktown.
I know tricks.
I don't know where the real bullhorn
Actually, I think that was the proper amount too.
is. Mary, do you know where the real bullhorn is?
My husband had it last.
No tricks and I turn tricks.
Where's the bullhorn?
You took it from me.
I did not.
Oh my
You did
god.
too. You took it from me and
This
told me
is
to go
awesome.
take
They're
it.
taking it seriously now. We're just screwing with them, but no, where's the bullhorn?
Well, earlier they were just screwing around with the bullhorn. They kept putting this thing with the siren.
The siren, yeah.
On top of the bullhorn.
Yeah,
It was
Every time I heard it, I went up against a building like this.
like siren.
Have it.
Oh. seriously, the only one I'm hurting
Well, just imagine how all the Muslims down there were feeling every time they heard a siren.
Yeah, there's a big Muslim gathering down
No,
the
our
other
food down there was like
Mennonite.
Mennonite.
Were they?
Okay, I thought they were Muslims.
They were Muslimites.
Oh, I
Church of
saw.
Hope and Love.
I saw women in long dresses and bonnets. That's all I saw.
All I saw
They
was
were
long
fun.
dresses and something on their heads.
Nope, they're Mennonites.
Okay.
They're Mennonites. Do, 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 do. They're Mennonites. Do, 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 do.
They're Mennonites.
Do, 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 do. I hope you guys weren't expecting anything really classy.
This is a furry con. I expect classy
This is
things.
as good as we get, honestly. Seriously.
We're just here to have fun.
So I guess we're stalling until more people show up, or?
No, just
No.
talk to the people.
Wait, and now she's got to go pee.
Well, luckily the women's
Once he
restroom
yells
can
it,
hear
at
you
least
from
a
here.
few
Oh.
people will show up. And they will show up very slowly.
I don't want to delay your urination. You should go. It's my pleasure. Anyway, we write books. I draw pictures. She does cool jewelry. She does awesome dolls. Your dolls are awesome.
Mostly I write books.
And mostly she writes books. And we all play a lot of City of Heroes. Hi.
And you heard Bird's word?
Bird is the word.
It's always a word.
Actually, the doctor, Dr. Robin Western, I was at the other day, he asked me, so what's the word of the day? And the first thing I thought of was incessant.
Yeah, it works.
And he goes, what does that mean? I don't know, it just occurred to me. Yeah.
Beautiful art.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It means casual in the French manner.
But yeah, it's, I told him it was basically being insolent and humorous. Incessant. Yes, that is correct, sir.
I can tell by the mustache mark.
So, what we wanted to do was come on down here because, how do you feel?
I feel much better.
Oh, thank
I
you.
was momentarily watching Jesus spin spinning things.
Oh, that's a miracle.
It's right behind you, I'm not kidding.
You should learn to do balloon animals.
Get thee behind me. Yes. Okay.
Jesus should learn to do balloon animals.
Holy balloon
Jesus
animals.
actually wants to get his marriage license so that he can come here and perform weddings as Ferret Jesus. I would totally let Ferret Jesus marry.
We have several pictures of him doing the Buddy Christ routine.
Buddy Jesus. That's right.
Have you noticed Jesus?
Oh, that's
walking
okay.
around?
Yes.
You remember how we were talking about the Mennonites that are down there? We've scared them with Buddy Jesus.
That's cool.
It's the second coming.
Awesome.
It's a red-tailed hawk.
Yes.
My persona.
There you go.
Beautiful.
What we wanted to do, Joel and Craig,
I figured it out.
they run, were part of the staff here, longtime friends of ours. And we're about 3 hours away. We said, we'll come down, we'll talk with folks, have a visit, screw around a little.
I said I want to sleep.
She said, oh, I want to sleep. I said, no, I don't. I'll sleep in the car. There. So she's looking and feeling her best.
Hey, look, there's my bullhorn.
Hey, Bullhorn!
You look mighty sexy with that horn.
Announce this panel.
I think I'm looking at this or something.
He's going to forget to turn it on and just yell into the back of it.
He's a loudmouth anyway.
Yeah. Holy shit, Mercedes Lackey's here. Yeah, I just sleep with her.
Peregrine Falcon.
And by the way, she brought her luggage husband. Call me Samsonite, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the offer gets top third.
That's okay.
Have you ever seen the art of Lynn Falcon? Lynn Falcon art or Falcon Movie Studios?
I don't think I have.
Look it up. It's pretty good avian artwork.
Cool. Will you write that down
Pretty
for
darn
me?
good.
Um, Anyway, yeah, we figured that we would do this very informal. I mean, we've worked huge rooms before, and we've worked small rooms, and we've done book signings where all we got were people asking where the restrooms were. So, no, seriously, it's unreal.
And then we get invitations to New Zealand, Australia. and
Yeah, oh
France.
man, that's fun, but what a long trip. And actually, Misty here is about to do a gig over in France, which is kind of awesome.
Heard about that?
Yeah, the French Fantasy Festival said, here, all expenses paid, boom. It's just like, bye, Larry. Yeah, I'll send you a croissant. Oh, this works out great. What, you're going to London and then Channel?
Yeah,
yeah.
because you guys remember Paul and Tor.
Yeah, Paul and
Well,
Tor.
they moved back to the UK so they could get married,
Mhm.
and.
Which they did.
Which they did, that's good.
And Paul's gonna pick me up, and I'm gonna get over my jet lag in their little shoebox.
Yeah, they got a tiny flat.
And then I'm gonna take the channel over and spend all day on a train to get to Epinal. And
Ask your doctor if Epinol is right for you.
then do that, come back and spend the next weekend with them. So
Here, take this away from me before I use its power for evil. Here.
No fun being good all
I don't know,
the
we could
time.
give it to Misty.
No, you just gave me power of evil. Thank you. If I hear medical emergency
Hey.
one more time, I'm using it in the ear.
First, do no harm. Okay.
I didn't take that creed.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hey, look, he's more well trained than my dog.
so are you Dr. Evil?
he's a med student. Evil.
Mid-student evil.
You took the hypocritical oath instead of impractical.
Nope, didn't take any of it.
But
He's
I
still-
did thank him earlier. He is the convention's medical officer.
He's,
Cool.
he's still working on his residency. He's
Oh, you're
resident.
pre-med
He's
evil.
Resident Evil. That's
We haven't gone that far.
Joel, that was good. That was very nice. We do this pretty informal. You have questions about writing, about art, about stuff. You know.
But I don't
Yeah.
know anything about life.
Yeah, but you know, you can
Meaning
just
of
pop
life.
up and ask what you feel like. We're here to serve.
Don't say that.
So if you choke a Smurf, what
I believe choking the Smurf is a popular euphemism in Austria.
Oh God, no.
Let's not go there.
So what is, well, that's the standard question. What is your advice for aspiring writers?
God, stop yourselves.
Does anybody really want to hear that?
Yeah, I mean, we can actually go through the whole real advice thing, or we can skip it.
Huh?
The question is, does
I think
anybody
screwing
really
around
want
be
to
more
hear
amusing.
that?
It is.
I would not mind, but my question will take significantly less time to answer.
Yeah.
The hero of the Last Hero Mage trilogy, is his name pronounced with a long A or a short A? Daniel or Vanya?
Actually, it's mostly pronounced fun. But yeah,
It's
Vanya.
it's Vanyel. It's based on Vanya, which is a Russian for another Russian derivative of the many Ivans.
So
saying it wrong for
Vanya.
Vanya.
So is that why he's never answered you?
Well, that's an interesting
Who is
one.
your favorite author?
Oh man.
My favorite author, it really kind of depends upon the
Do you want
genre.
to take a mic around to the crowd?
Whether or
so
not
they
you're
can
talking
hear
about living or dead.
I think it's close enough that we really don't need to use the mics.
Oh,
We're projecting pretty well.
I would.
I meant
say-
them,
I would say.
not
that,
projecting at you all enough.
Okay,
If I were picking a book that I had to get abandoned on a desert island with, it would be Dorothy Sayers' Gaudy Nights.
I
So
thought
I
it'd be
guess
How to Survive a Desert Island.
I guess it would be Dorothy Sayers.
No, I would go with How to Build a Raft.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I would go with not taking a survival book at all. I would just take Jamie Hyneman.
Yeah, right. Take Jamie Hyneman. Yeah. The Professor's Guide to Cooking and Technology.
I couldn't hear you,
Building
hon.
dummies.
I couldn't hear you.
I've always heard that if you go on a desert island, you should always bring enough cards, because every time you start getting salty or something shows up.
if not,
Interesting theory.
Okay. Next up.
Yeah. Anybody?
Yeah.
Questions?
Okay, we're done. No.
Buddy.
I
Buddy.
could have a million questions about pronunciation, but I'll hold
You can do it. I mean, seriously. where else are you going to find out?
Black Griffin.
Yes,
yeah,
about-
Black Griffin. How do you
what
pronounce
about-
his name?
Scandranan.
Scandranis.
Oh,
That's
hell crap.
Scandranan. I've heard a lot of variations. Now, what's really weird is that I go back with mucks and mushes and stuff back to early 80s. And it's very strange because I've been on mucks and mushes with rooms full of people.
Genie.
You know, and Genie, oh yeah, General Electric Network for Information Exchange and CB simulators and all the way far before most of you were sperm. And I've been in rooms with people named, you know, Amber Drake and Scandranan and Geston and everything, and they don't know who I am. And it's just this spooky thing like, oh God, what would happen if they knew that I was in this room with, you know, because they're playing the characters that we wrote. And, yeah.
They'd
it's
probably
funny.
all go fanboy and go, we worship your feet, we worship your feet.
You
Or go
know,
psychotic and go, I can't.
the thing is, people try to push us up on pedestals, we will step right the hell off. I mean, you know,
I'm of a firm belief that it doesn't matter how famous anybody is, they're just a person.
we try not to be dicks is the main thing. I mean, seriously, there are a lot of folks in the field that get real impressed by themselves, and we're we're giving it our best, but we aren't, you know, we ain't changing the world with what we're doing. We're just trying to provide some really good entertainment and, you know, maybe help some people through hard times. And,
Well, if it helps, you've entertained me for about 10 years straight now.
oh my goodness, your arms must be so tired. No. Oh, the other books. Okay,
Not the wanking material.
not the, yeah, that's true.
Wait a minute, you have wanking material?
You should see the fanfic. Oh, somebody actually wrote /fic of me and Scandranan. I mean, the writer, me, and the character, Scandranan. Yeah, it's out there, guys.
Really?
Rule 34, we're saying.
Rule 40, yeah, rule
As an
34.
author, what do you feel about fan fiction? Does it like feel like an insult or like a compliment?
Ah!
All right, that is a complicated question which can
Butter
be answered in two relatively simple parts.
2 words. Oh,
No, the part one is I started out writing fan fiction. I am strongly in favor of it, and thank God my agent picked up Cory Doctorow,
yay, Corey.
who used his powers of persuasion for good and convinced him that there's nothing wrong with fan fiction and it's not taking money away from the author.
Mm-hmm.
So, part one is have fun with the fan fiction. Part two is I could never look at it.
There's a reason.
There's a reason
Legal
for that.
reason.
The legal reason is Marion Zimmer Bradley used to read her fan fiction all the time. She, a couple times actually said, I kind of like the direction this particular piece went, so I'd like to incorporate that particular idea. And despite the fact that you cannot copyright an idea, finally someone turned around and sued her.
Yeah.
And that book will never appear now.
Yep. So the agency has a policy that we're not allowed to look at fan fiction.
So I do not look at fan fiction. I never will look at fan fiction, and sorry about that, but that's how it is. In fact, I don't look at anything that has not come to me from a real publisher.
Yeah. We have to take what's called solicited manuscripts, meaning they come from a publisher, from an editor, or from an agent. And only then are we legally covered to check it out. However, there is a blanket go get 'em as far as doing fanfic about our stuff, because we think it's awesome that people like it enough to do that. And we encourage it. It's cool.
And as fast as I am, apparently I am not fast enough to satisfy the voracious appetites of.
Well, I mean, that's how you started off as a writer to begin with.
True.
out of the.
Let me have her.
No author ever is.
You probably could have left the dish in there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the dish could have stayed.
No, Misty's favorite authors were just not writing quickly enough to satisfy her, so she went into writing fanfic on theirs, and eventually they went, hey, this is kind of cool. And
One of them was Marion Zimmer Bradley.
yeah,
And you're only doing 4 books a year, Misty. I mean,
yeah. When's the next Mercedes Lackey book? Check your watch. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you know, Misty here has the awesome distinction of not just being a very good author, in my opinion, but also being an incredibly quick one for the quality that you get. And she keeps on experimenting. I mean, the latest series The latest series is a superhero series that I wound up being both the cover artist on and the series editor for. How weird is that? I was helping out on the editing, and then the publisher said, well, you know the material and you do book covers. You do those. Okay. So, that's the Secret World Chronicle, which started out as City of Heroes fan fiction.
Yep. Boy, did it ever mutate.
Yeah. And everybody at City of Heroes, all the developers and everything, turned out to be fans, and so we actually have content in the game now that you can play.
You know all the best superheroes came from mutations.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and I actually used to work in the comics business way back when. Yeah.
I have a very confusing and in-depth question.
We're ready for you.
I am a writer, as annoying as that statement is.
Oh, you poor thing.
I have the ability to write characters, scenes,
Yes.
descriptions, and make them believable and lovable. But I cannot write a plot to save my life.
We can help you with that. Do you have something to write with?
At the moment, no.
Ah, you're doomed. Okay, let me get you something to write with. Because you'll need to write this down. Hi there. Hi, nice to see you again.
You write it down while I tell her about it.
I wouldn't be able to read it if I wrote it down anyway.
There is
We've done this before.
possibly the best book
No.
ever written.
No.
He hasn't got food.
Absolutely, no doubt, the best book ever written on
He
plot
doesn't have food, dear.
and
She
pacing.
thinks you've got food.
Snyder.
Blake
She thinks
Snyder's
that is food
Save
because
the
you're holding
Cat.
it and doing this with it.
It's for screenwriters, but those of us who have read it and become devoted to it are not just screenwriters. A lot of us use it for book writing as well. And
What's the
it
title?
is
What was the title again?
Save the
Blake
cat.
Snyder's Save the Cat. The reason it's called Save the Cat is this is one of the moments that he talks about in a plot development where you must, no matter how much of an anti-hero your protagonist is, no matter how much you want people to dislike him, you nevertheless, if you're going to keep them from walking out of the movie or throwing your book across the room, you've got to do something that makes them relate to him. And that moment in Alien is when Ripley saves her cat.
Yeah.
That's when she becomes human, when she goes back for the cat. And everybody who has a pet can relate to that.
You see,
Everybody who has a pet knows that they would go, and then in the second movie, of course, it's when she saves the kid.
Yep.
But that was the second movie, not the first movie.
Did you see the movie Water for Elephants?
No,
I haven't yet.
but there's probably an identical moment like that. And I realized when I read Save the Cat that this is what when I had done the best books, I was doing everything in the order and hitting the beats that he describes perfectly.
What's fascinating about Blake Snyder is that this is a guy who made millions as a screenwriter and
Literally millions.
and loved screenwriting and loved movies and realized that there was a structure to successful storytelling that he was able to find in literally hundreds of successful films. They all had these same elements in common. And then they translate into other creative fields. The interesting thing about it is when you hear the word formulaic, you know, you're thinking of something that's kind of crappy and by the numbers, except he discovered the formula that made these things successful. And if you hit these beats while you're planning a story, it will be good. And ever since we've tried it, it's never failed on us.
And by having his beat sheet in front of you, while you're working on something, you can realize exactly what piece of the story is missing. When
Now-
you've gotten from point A to point D,
Mhm.
you can sit there and scratch your head and go, well, okay, that's fine, but I need something in here. With the beat sheet, you can look at the beat sheet and say, oh, yeah, I need Dark Night of the Soul right there.
And when we're talking about beats also, we're talking about like comedic beats, the timing that you have in your storytelling. He's not telling you what to write. He's saying this is when something like this needs to happen. It's still up to you.
Timing is key.
Timing is,
The thing is, the
Keep-
reason that formula works is because this is how humans are instinctively
Dinner refill.
programmed to
Feels
think
cool.
in terms of story.
Does this help even if you have the whole ADHD, I'm on a clock.
It's
I'm on a
especially
clock, I'm on a clock.
helpful.
Whoa.
It's especially
It's
helpful
especially
because
helpful.
you've got everything, you have the beat sheet in front of you and you must stick to it.
Yeah.
So even though you can go off and write those little flights of fantasy, you're always going to end up coming back to the beat sheet, seeing if you can fit it in, which you might be
Yeah.
able to, or saying, well, I can't fit it in there, but I'm going to save this for another story.
Whenever I teach artists about their craft and everything, I do master classes all over, I tell them always keep their sketchbooks, okay? Sketch in them a lot, but here's the thing about sketchbooks. Something that you draw may be 90% crap, but that means 10% of it's still good. What I find happens a lot as you grow as an artist and as a writer is that you often will create things you don't really have the talent to pull off yet, but the idea is still valid.
Or you'll plot something.
Yeah, that you're just not good enough to write yet.
The Obsidian trilogy was something that I plotted before I ever wrote my first book. I got halfway through writing it and realized I don't have the talent to pull this off.
Yeah, and that's an amazing thing for a creator to do, because otherwise we're just predisposed toward just gnashing our teeth and going, oh, we suck, you know. So actually having the cognitive smarts there to think, okay, I'm not ready for this yet, but it'll be cool one day.
Yeah.
You know, that's a smart thing
So
to do.
it's sat on the back
sounds
burner
like,
for 20 years.
yeah, it sounds like a lot of what you're doing is writing vignettes, but you don't have the structure to drop them into yet to make a whole story, right?
Yeah, I've always said that I write because I cannot draw.
That's fine.
Like, I see the picture, the person, the image, the place, but I can't draw it.
Well, I'll tell you,
And I write it.
every artist in here, I will tell you as somebody who's been doing this for 30 years, you know, paying the bills and everything else, at my level of mastery, I only get it right 4 times out of 10. Okay? If you feel like you suck because you're only getting 20% of your drawings right, holy crap, that took me 20 years to get to that proportion, you know. Seriously, don't get down on yourself if you feel like your art's not working out or your writing's not working out. You just get better at it incredibly slowly. But Winston Churchill said that success is the ability to go from failure to failure without giving up. And there's a lot to that. It's one of the sayings I keep on the studio wall. You know, perseverance is what makes an artist, what makes a writer. Now, something I can teach you here about how we work that may help you with some of your writing blocks, if you will.
Is Draconis here? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Is a structure that we use that came
Go
in
around the other
very
side,
handy.
please don't yell across.
Working with word processors. Like I said, Misty writes very quick, so these numbers may not work for you. But she's also a stone killer. You shall breed no more. Yes. Okay.
You know, you're just breeding superflies.
Superflies.
Yeah.
A 70s porn star. Okay.
Exactly.
We found when we were working together that we would do these long outlines we call skeletons, and this is from a technique that she learned from C.J. Cherry. A skeleton outline is hitting all the big points that you want to happen. It's like a Cliff's Notes of your own book. But you drop in, you know, oh, this is a really cool line for him. You go ahead and include that.
It was essentially a Blake Snyder beat sheet.
It was. We didn't know it at the time. Yeah, his book wasn't even out, but it was very similar, wasn't it? But what we found was that at the rate that Misty would write, she would do 10 pages of finished text a day, which right there will make you, oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And this is like print quality too, so way to go, Misty. But we would have 3 pages of this outline on a rack, okay? Because 1 page of outline was equivalent to about 10 pages of finished text. That's totally by coincidence. It wasn't planned that way. But what this meant was by having 3 pages of your extended outline, you could see where you were yesterday, where you're going today, and where you're headed tomorrow. And so you're able to write continuity because this page here would be a reminder of the 10 pages you wrote yesterday. Today you transition into this page of it, and then you leave it open for the next day, and so your writing, you know, flows very smoothly. And that's kind of a cool thing. What I insist that you do as a writer or as an artist is just get something on the page. And don't, honest to God, don't
She's limping. She's
think
holding
about
herself up on somebody else.
it as far as, does this suck too much to put on a page? The answer is yes. It always will. But if you get something on a page, you have something to react to. And that's where you refine something into good material. If you just sit there with a cursor on your screen going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and you've written nothing down and that cursor keeps flipping the middle finger at you over and over, you're editing in your head but not moving any keys. You're not getting anything on the page to react to.
It's
Similarly, a
way-
blank sketchbook does you no good.
It's way easier to edit than it is to.
Yeah.
I hate it when I'm writing and all of a sudden I stop and then my brain keeps going to the story, but I stop and typing it.
Type
And then
it.
when I go to type, but sometimes I'll be like, wait, how should I edit this line? And then sometimes I'll end up 10 pages away and realize I haven't written anything down.
I have over 30 files called notes files. And they are nothing but snappy dialogue, funny insults, dirty jokes, character descriptions. I have one bit of a guy graphically picking his nose just because I had a joke in it, you know. But you put it all in a notes file. You can come back and skim it later, like looking through a sketchbook. But you may have a key in there that you need for a story. So, yeah. Ray Bradbury, I asked Ray about a problem I was having with the story, and he said to me, every writer has a million lousy words in them. You just have to write through that first million to get to the good ones.
I read the same thing said about artists. Every artist has 10,000 bad drawings.
Yeah.
They get one good one.
Yeah, I'm at about 7,000. So I hope that helps. And you would say?
I got several screenplays that I'm working on. But some of them I've like come to like little roadblocks. Is it okay? You think they have like several going at one time and just come back to it, or?
Most successful screenwriters do. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I would strongly recommend that you get Blake's book.
Blake Snyder, Save the
Because-
Cat,
because-
Save the Cat Strikes Back, Save the Cat Goes to Movies.
Save the Cat Goes to the Movies, he literally takes, how many, 200 movies?
It's remarkable
Breaks them
because,
down by genre and then does a beat sheet for each one of them.
yeah, and you go, holy crap, that's why it worked. I mean,
And the
the guy
thing
was
is,
brilliant.
one of the keys to how well this works is that he has chosen stuff that sticks in your mind. Like, for instance, the moment that I spoke of earlier, the Dark Night of the Soul. You automatically know what that is.
Yeah. When
You
somebody
know,
has
the
their
bad guys
self-doubt.
close in.
Fun and games.
You know what that is.
All
Fun
the,
and games.
all the
That's
cool
all the
stuff that you
trailer-
remember
that's
is
all
fun
the
and
trailer
games,
stuff.
yeah. But it sounds like if you're dedicated enough to have several screenplays going, then you're taking a professional approach to it. And from a professional approach, you always want to have extra stuff in the pipeline. Never concentrate on just one at a time. Because you'll need to have stuff to shop around to different places too.
And the thing is, by
Real quick,
getting...
heads up. Are you guys, how long are you prepared to go? Craig wants to.
We have staying power.
The reason I ask is Craig is wanting to know for serving the meal. We're going to feed you guys dinner and.
Probably another 15 minutes, I
Yeah, you
think.
don't have to hold up for us though if you want to go ahead.
Well, no, we're
dropping.
good. He was just curious how.
Let's call it another 15 minutes if that's good.
Is that good?
That's awesome.
Anybody got more questions?
I have one more annoying question.
Definitely, well,
You haven't
to
had
get
any
back
knowing
to
one
you,
yet?
to get back to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
The thing about Blake's beat sheet is that when you look at your current screenplay where you're stalled and you look at the beat sheet, you will immediately know what you need to do
Okay.
next.
It's
I'll
that
guarantee
amazing.
that.
And we're not evangelical about much of anything, but just that book is just so
It
helpful
is
to every
such,
creative we
it
know.
is such, it is the most amazing creative tool that I have run across and the most amazing book about writing that I have run across.
And after
in
25 years of writing,
25 years.
that's saying something.
And that's after reading Ray Bradbury's books on writing, reading Stephen King's books on writing, reading Orson Scott Card's. Blake is by far and away the best single book on writing I have ever seen in my life.
See, my dad uses Stephen King, the writer, one of his books on writing. Is that one actually any good?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Steve has his extreme prejudices about some things.
But there's a horror author that.
Well, no,
Great
one of the
guy.
things he says is, he says because only a hack writer uses an outline, which is bullshit. A writer a writer uses whatever tools works for him.
Of course, we got a different attitude about the word hack than most people do. I
Well,
mean,
a hack is a reliable horse that gets you where you want to go.
Yeah.
If you look up the definition of hack, that's what it is.
so we don't mind being hacks because we deliver.
I may have what is a stupid question. First of all, I am thoroughly thrilled about the fact that I'm in a room with the two of my 4 favorite authors. One of the other ones you know.
All 4 of us get together, we form Voltron.
Yeah, I know.
I'll form the head!
I'm always the left leg, I suck.
The coincidence is I believe you two know one of my other favorite authors, Anne McCaffrey.
Annie, yeah.
Yeah.
We worked with Annie. Annie was a friend, and we miss her.
The semi-stupid question, and this may be stupid, this may not be, is there a list anywhere of, first of all the Vladimir books, the ones about the horses? Yeah.
Yeah,
those.
we read those.
Why don't you try my website?
There's that.
Where,
It's on the inner tubes.
It's on the internet.
I need what it is though.
It uses my name.
Okay, so it's basically just MercedesLackey.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Girlsgonewild.com.
And I'm hoping that's in order
Mine, of
because
course,
I'm one of those anal people about reading a book in order. I have to go through the trilogies and
If it's in English, you go left to right. Page
Yeah.
1 to 2, 3 to 4. You got it.
Back there.
I can't, I got here a little bit late. What
Yes.
was the book you're saying is the really good one for you?
Oh,
Blake Snyder's Save the Cat.
yes. SNYDER, silent Q.
Okay, thank you.
Blake Snyder, Save the Cat. Yeah. And furthermore, you wanted to say,
Me?
Yes.
How do you get your writing out there once you finish a story?
You send
solid
it in.
question. Yeah.
I know, because I've had different opinions. People can't tell me
All
I
right.
should self-publish and...
No, we
I
can tell
would-
you how it used to be.
I used, up until this year, I would have said, do not e-publish. E-publishing is the kiss of death.
Changed.
Not true, and I would actually suggest e-publishing.
Uh,
I'd watch it with Amazon because they routinely cheat the authors.
yeah, they've done some nasty stuff, actually.
Uh,
Without the author's permission, they drop the price of a book the week before calculating royalties. It's WTF, yeah, that's not cool. But today, you got what, $1,400 check off just
Short stories.
e-published short stories?
Old short stories that were
From
put
20 years ago.
from the last 20 years, and I got $1,400, and I'm getting $1,400 a month,
Yeah.
just from old short stories.
So,
Where would
yeah,
you
EPUB.
e-publish with?
Hmm?
Where would you recommend to e-publish?
That's
That
tricky.
I don't know.
Well, that's tricky because, I mean, my advice is if you have the choice, if you have the option, and you're good enough, try to get picked up by an actual editor at an actual imprint house that also does ebooks. But these days, it's very easy to
Yeah.
self-publish online, vanity press online. The problem is, you're not doing yourself any favors by not having an editor. I mean, just like there are specialists that, okay, you've got one guy that will work on your car that's really good at the electronics. And similarly, an editor is somebody who may not know how to write, but knows what stories need.
Well, I'm not asking for myself. I have somebody else who I know who writes. The thing is, he has an editor in his household. So
Mhm.
they can work as a team and actually do lots of good stuff. The thing is, we're looking for a publisher.
I cannot tell you what to do or how to do it. The big thing is always going to be to get it out in front of people. You might try. There are a couple things that have worked for other people. There's the Storytellers Bowl, where people will start the book for free on their website, and then they put out a PayPal bowl, and when the PayPal bowl has X amount in it, they publish the next chapter.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That's been a kind of a Kickstarter thing for fiction, if you will. I'll tell you something though, having been in the business so long, I mentioned earlier this is my 251st convention as a guest. If you want to be published, if you want to be out there with your artwork or whatever, work on the social skills. It's crazy because you think, oh, I got to work on my craft, but as a child, I didn't want to be a spaceman or a firefighter. I wanted to be a state-level diplomat. I thought it was the most amazing idea that the fate of nations could be steered by, at some point, one person talking to one other person. And that's what it comes down to for every bestseller. And for every gig that you do, eventually it's you talking to one person that can't afford to say no.
Do they still make that almanac? It's mentioned in Stephen King's On Writing, an almanac of editors who will accept works that you send in.
The writer's market?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And it's there for illustrators and artists as well. And they're still out there. But going to conventions is a wonderful thing because it's a chance, if you're good at the social stuff, to meet the people that will actually publish your book, and
Or
they'll
buy it.
know, hey, this person's okay, this person's not a dick. I found with so many pursuits in my life that what people really wanted, more than talent, was just somebody that was easy to get along with. I mean, it's a huge thing. In fact, one of our publishers, Betsy Walheim, said, I don't want one great novel. I want lots of really good novels. But
Because one great novel can just be a flash in the pan.
yeah, and you'll get one splash, then you'll never hear something from them again. But if you're in the business of doing really good work consistently, you're probably also an okay, reliable person. And for somebody who has to pay for their kids' college, they got to pay their Manhattan flat and everything like that, having somebody reliable like that that's easy to work with will take you much further than having a perfect craft. And then the craft will come because you'll love it, you know. You'll keep getting better. I know of nobody that genuinely loves their work that has ever backslid. It's when they stop loving it, it kind of sucks.
I'll get better if I can stop burning songs.
You'll be okay. Yeah.
I was going to ask a question on opinion of authorship. What do you guys think of the style of one of my other favorite fantasy authors, Mr. Terry Brooks?
Terry, yeah, a good solid writer. I got nothing wrong with Terry. Yeah, sure.
You ever met Spider Robinson?
No,
I've
and it's
never
so
met
strange.
him.
I've only known him online. And we at Genie actually was when I used to know Spider and Genie a lot. Nice guy, love his work, you know, cool dude. It's strange after having been in this field for so long, having done so many convention things, is the people that we don't know, that we haven't met, and whose work I love. I mean, Bob Silverberg, never met the guy, love his work. Alan Dean Foster, never met the guy, love his work, and so on and so on. It's weird. I'll tell you one thing on a personal level. Back when I started as a fantasy illustrator, you guys can't even conceive this probably, there were maybe 300 of us. Okay, I mean, nowadays there are tens of thousands of fantasy artists and there's categories on monster.com and things like that. But back then, most of us knew each other because there were so few of us in the genre at all. You know, and seeing what we used to do on a professional level sometimes can barely match the fan art that's out there now. I mean, and that's one thing about the furry community that blows me away, is the median level of sheer skill in furry artwork is absolutely pro level 20 years ago. And I just think it's wonderful to see.
That actually reminds me of an actual artistic
Could you
question.
speak up a little?
That actually reminds me of a question related to graphic art.
Yes.
Have you ever done any work for Wizards of the Coast?
Of course I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I still got my knee
Second
pads.
part is, have you ever met Alexi Brigla?
I have not.
That's one of my favorite wizards, like regulars.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if Alexi's a male or female. I think it's male.
Depends
Anyway.
upon the weekend, I don't know. It's like Wendy Carlos, right?
My favorite artist.
Yeah.
Are there any have you done any work for Magic the Gathering specifically?
I have not.
He's not done any card collecting
No.
art.
It makes me sad because I'm a huge player of Magic. I was hoping to
No, it's okay. I got other stuff. I mean, actually, I brought these here, which are kind of, hey, this is some of what I do. And there's some Wizards of the Coast stuff there for Epic Level Handbook, Oriental Adventures down there, more of that stuff. And the things that I was passing around has got a lot of WotC stuff. I've done art and writing for about 60 RPGs. I've learned what would become D&D from some of the blue and purple mimeograph sheets before D&D was published. I played in the third Blackmore campaign. It's been a good long trip, let me tell you. I've loved what gaming has become. We didn't know we were innovators. I mean, we were writing this stuff because nobody else made it for us to buy.
The root of my question is, the reason I really asked why it
Mhm.
worked for Wizards of the Coast is, how does one go about submitting art to them?
Oh, submission. Well, again, I got to go back to my own experiences when there were so few of us. It was mostly word of mouth. You know,
They came to you.
you'd have dinner with Boris Vallejo and he'd recommend you to someone and that kind of thing. It's kind of tip off. But nowadays, you can just throw somebody a website and they'll check it out and go, okay, yeah, I've got a couple slots in this book, like that. The main thing is professionalism and being cool. I got to tell you, there are a lot of talented people that just don't treat the social aspects of the field with enough respect. But you have to get along with people. And that's what will take you further in your career than most things. Joel?
You had your hand up for a long time.
Yes.
We're trying to do a story post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since it's something I can't live,
We hope.
live, it's kind of hard to really, and I have other people trying to work on the same project.
Mhm.
Any recommendation how to inspire them, how to try to set up scenes or
Bomb
something like
them.
that? Huh?
Bomb them.
What? Oh, bomb them.
Yeah, bomb them. If you want them to feel the post-apocalypse thing, you
Put 'em
know,
in reality.
give them a tin of beans with some radiation.
Yeah, I was gonna
No.
say-
If
Um,
you really
I
want
recommend a
to
trip to the
do
Middle
that,
East too.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah, Detroit
all
works.
of you hole up in the house for a weekend with no power.
Right.
That's
Live like
all
that for a
it'll
while.
take.
Yeah, go method acting on it. Just try to
Christy?
simulate some of it.
Huh. I remember calling down there one time because I hadn't seen Larry online
Mhm.
for about a week and a half. I was kind of worried, so I called his cell phone and you answered. It was like, so how are you holding up? This sucks. It's like living on the moon, I believe was the quote.
Yeah.
There was,
But the ice
about
storm?
3 years ago when we had
Yeah.
an ice storm, we were without power for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an all-electric house.
But
Yeah.
you bring up something important though there. We talk about, do it method acting style, try to simulate. We feel that you cannot write good adventure without having adventures. Whenever we wanted to do the Serrated Edge series, which is a modern setting, urban fantasy thing, about the classic old world elves who would compete with knights and so on, updated to them operating
cars.
in car racing, in prototype racing, that kind of thing. I took Misty to driving school, She was out there with a spec racer hauling ass at 130 miles an hour and, learning how to race,
So basically,
to research the book better.
there is the cheap way of doing this, which is everybody hole up in your house for a weekend without power, without cell phones, without anything. There is the expensive way of doing this where there are people that do zombie survival camps.
Mhm.
And, if you all feel like you want to spend that kind of money on a week or weekend vacation, then by all means do that.
Experience is going to be one of the best things you can do as a writer. Helps as an artist too, but if you're doing a lot of descriptive text, try to simulate what you want to do. Some people take it to great extremes. Sean down in Australia.
Good God,
yeah.
Sean McMillan.
Yeah, Sean McMillan, he wanted to simulate
my
somebody on
God.
the Crusades, so he put on full armor
Full Crusader common soldier armor
and hiked
And
across
marched
the outback.
across the outback
Oh,
for 40 days
40 days.
in the summer.
And Sean McMullen, this is a brilliant, brilliant guy.
Maybe not anymore.
That's
To
what
be
dead-
able to
dead guys,
describe his sword work, he became a master fencer. I mean, the guy is just really hardcore about it. But you don't have to go that far. Yeah, you don't have to. Trust me.
You hear the
But
plans
still,
we have for you?
you want to have an adventurous life if you want to write adventure fiction, I think, because it gives you, here comes the word, verisimilitude in your, yeah. it's a
Yes,
good
that's
word.
the word of the day.
Yeah, verisimilitude. What? It means believability, if you will, verisimilitude. It's if you know how something feels, you can describe it in a more visceral way than if you're an outsider.
They are working on seating for the restaurant.
Okay, so we're winding down.
We
2
are now
minutes.
wrapping up.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Just mentioning that if
They
you
want
guys
to
are
feed
hungry,
us. Yeah.
we would like to feed you.
They want to feed us. Okay, guys. Now, what we're going to
We'll do
do?
is one more question and then we'll wrap it.
Yeah, I'll do the closing.
Anybody got a question?
have one for somebody else.
You know you wanna.
No one else does, trust me.
No, let's just stare at him longer. Make him more
Well, I said
self-conscious.
if nobody else does, I was checking to see if anybody else had their hand up. As a pair of authors, I'm a huge comic book nerd. Who do you think is one of the best characterized comic book characters out today?
Ooh.
See, we know a lot of comics writers, and
Yeah.
in fact, I hadn't worked in, I used to do Marvel stuff, I used to do a lot of indies, that kind of thing way back when. And then I hadn't been in the comics industry for more than 12 years, nothing at all. And then I started playing City of Heroes, okay? And totally random, there's like 10,000 people per server, 12 servers, yada yada. Totally random. I wind up on a team with
Gail Simone,
who is writing Birds of Prey,
Howard.
and Howard Porter, who is penciling Justice League. What the hell, you know? And it's like, hey, oh yeah, I do this. Oh my God, yeah, you're great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
We
would
wound up being best pals. Introduced us to Kurt Busiek, who's awesome. Mark Waid.
I
and,
would
you know.
say, for me, it's definitely Gail Simone's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Gail Simone, I think, has done a
Amazing
magnitude better in understanding Wonder Woman than any other writer has. And that's even saying this with lots of friends that have written Wonder Woman. There's something about Gail, she really gets the character.
Most of the people have asked that question say Spider-Man, because he's got a lot of the same problems that normal people.
I love Dwayne McDuffie. I miss him. You know, a terrible, terrible death. I really love what's been done with Spider-Man lately by Dan Slott. Dan Slott, brilliant comic writer. Never tire of seeing his work.
What I like about Wonder Woman, as Gail Simone has been writing her, is Gail Simone is writing someone who is not normal, and it is very, very difficult to pull off in an empathic fashion.
Yeah. One thing that she has done with the Wonder Woman character when she was writing Wonder Woman is that it was taken from the point of view that, you know, this is basically a young goddess from Themyscira who happens to live in a world with superheroes. This is not someone that set out to be a superhero. And so there's
And
an
she's a
epic
goddess.
quality of a
And
mythical quality to
And
her.
she is a goddess, and she is not normal and never will be normal, and yet she has to fit in with normals.
And the trick is it's so easy to get cheap fish out of water jokes. Sorry, Aquaman. With that kind of a premise, and yet she never overplayed that hand. Gail is also, and this is another thing I'm going to give to you before we close. Gail is an accomplished comedy writer.
Very much so.
I mean, we're talking Simpsons. I mean, serious comedy writer. Okay. And I recommend to every writer, whether you're doing fanfic, novels, screenplays, whatever,
Study comedy.
study comedy. Not just because it's fun. You know, not just because it's fun and you get a lot of laughs out of
Comedy
it, but
is
comedy,
hard.
dying is easy, comedy's hard. You know, it's a great joke, but it's also very true. But the thing about comedy is George Carlin, in one of his last interviews, said that he would spend a week writing jokes, and then on the last day, he would work on condensing them into the fewest words possible. And that's part of the genius of comedy, is that it's a form of distillation. You know, it's not all about the funny necessarily. You learn so much about structure and storytelling and timing and everything like that that will apply even to novel-length work. You can set up, when we talk about beats, there was a chase sequence that we did in Born to Run that it's a chapter-long car chase. But what you don't realize is that we wrote it with a backbeat. Every sentence goes da 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 da, as far as the syllables if you're reading it out loud. And it has a beat, so that whenever you come up to the tension point, it goes from da 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 to da 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 da, with small short words, and then you come to the crash at the gate, and it transitions into a new writing style.
You know, I don't think I noticed that until just now.
There you go.
5 times.
But sometimes that's a craft that you need to put into your storytelling, and like constructing a joke, applying the craft to it can get you out of the jam. As far as comedy, pure comedy structure goes, Eddie Izzard is a, I've seen Eddie live. Actually, I saw him in London doing the Lenny Bruce story. And what he did was he would play Lenny Bruce, improvising as Lenny Bruce to break up the band that was on stage. Seriously.
That's what Bruce used to do.
His brilliance comes in making it sound like stream of thought when there's actually a very strong structure behind it. It'll sound like he's just making something up. That's all technique. Every bit of it was planned beforehand. but it's very convincing. Similarly, Patton Oswalt is very good as a storyteller, and he can manipulate an audience very well. If you try to structure a chapter the way that Patton Oswalt will set up a long joke, you're going to be good to go. And Patton's also a massive geek, and I've corresponded with him, and we're both comics fans, and yeah.
Yeah, a couple of my favorite comics are George Carlin, like you said.
George Carlin.
Bo Burnham.
Yeah, sure. I like Gianfanculis and, oh yeah.
Right.
If you study, you can watch stand-up and you can watch comedy as just getting some laughs, but you watch it again and you study the structure. It's great if you're a writer. Cool. Hey guys, and we're going to wrap it up. We've got stuff to sell. We brought the new paperback, Beauty and the Werewolf, which we thought would be perfect for this crowd, and it's also freaking hilarious. I brought prints, and your prints will come. And they're taking us away to do a dinner thing now, but then we're going to set up in there at a table. Everybody come by, say hi, we'll sell you some stuff, we'll autograph things, and if you have our books at home and you wanted to get them autographed, we brought book plates. We'll autograph them and you can stick them in your books. So we're going to go for now. Catch up to you. Thanks, guys.
Oh my god. I think I love you guys even more now.
Well, we love